So at the time, I had just graduated from college and I was working full time, still living with my family. And I had just had a very unsatisfactory dating life. I lived at home during college. I did a lot of work that kept me off campus, so I didn't really have a social life. And then I actually started looking up just out of frustration after, so much time being dateless, just working, coming home, having the same routine, not going out on the weekends. I just Googled, why am I so bad with women and at life? And uh, the first book I got was No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover. And I started reading it and I took that little, how much of a nice guy are you test. And I scored in like the 90th percentile or something. And I immediately put the book down and was like, no, I'm not doing this. And then I went to grad school after a couple of years and I started noticing, all right, I'm a little more mature. I can kind of put myself out there a little bit, but I'm still running into the same shyness, passivity, struggling when it comes to actually asking out women and making new friends and putting myself out there and trying new things. Kind of in between commutes to work and downtime, I would start listening to podcasts. And I eventually found Dr. Aziz's podcast. And I would just listen to it, doing laundry or on my commute to work. And I really was captivated by his story because I really resonated immediately with me. It was immediate how much I felt yeah, that's me. I was that person at his age. The way he described himself in grad school, I'm kind of that way now. I want to try new things. I don't know how to. And I don't know why I don't know how to. So eventually I picked that book up again by Robert Glover, read that, and I started listening to more of Dr. Aziz's podcasts. I started doing some of the things that he actually would say, those time for action for the day. And I would try to do that. I would note how I felt. I started trying to do a few different things that were, comfortably expanding, meditating more, starting up random conversations with strangers. And eventually he came out with that book, Not Nice. And I started reading it, and just like with Robert Glover, I was like, I can't do this. This is too much like me. This hits too close to home. I finished my last year of grad school. At that time, I was in a relationship. It was the first real significant relationship I had had. And I thought, wow, this is it. I think this is the person I've found that I'm in love with and I want to marry. And that didn't work. We did break up. And for a while, I just was very sad. I was working. I came back to live with my parents. This was just last year. And I realized I could keep doing these patterns of just, working these small jobs, living this smaller way of life. And then I realized, all the things that I've done before, I liked the parts where I was expanding. And if I woke up the next day, tomorrow, and if everything that I had before, the way I told myself my story of who I was, the way I interacted with women, the way I interacted with the world, the way I talked to myself, if I woke up and that was all gone the next day, I would not miss any of it. So I realized I need to change. It's more than just want. I have to change because otherwise life is not worth living this way. So I picked the book up again, started reading it, started doing the audiobook as well at the same time. And yeah, I changed careers a little bit. I started teaching. I moved out of my parents' house, started listening to it more, realized that this career is nice, but I want to do something better. I want something better paying, more rewarding, more lucrative. I want a relationship. I think I can be daring enough to say that I both want and deserve a really happy, loving, mutually beneficial relationship. I saw this event coming up and I was like, oh, boy, that would be really uncomfortable if I did that. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's whip out the wallet. Like, I really wanted to do it. Immediately I thought, oh, actually, I reached out to him on YouTube as well. I was watching a video. He was talking about how events really skyrocket growth. And I wanted to skyrocket my growth. So I just said, hey, I am interested. I don't know which one to go to. And he just said, the Ultimate Confidence Breakthrough sounds right up your alley. And that was it. I went to his page, signed up, started booking my flight, booked an Airbnb, and I think from April to the day I came here on day one, I was just thinking about it, looking forward to it, reading up, studying, journaling, doing everything I could just to make sure that I could come here and just do everything that I could. Just leave nothing behind, leave no stone unturned, leave nothing unsaid. This morning, we were standing in a smaller group just going about reporting on what's a breakthrough we've had. And we all went around saying, this is our breakthrough, here's what we had. And someone spoke up, and they were very vulnerable about what they were feeling. And they actually started tearing up a little bit. And then someone else spoke up after I had gone, and they talked about something really personal that they realized and that they had had a conversation with several other people from this class after the workshop had ended for the day. And so after he was done, I went, can I change mine? Because I wasn't being entirely honest. There was something else really more significant that happened to me. And I gave my first time around just what sounded like a good answer, acceptable answer. And the second time around, I gave an authentic answer. And it was way more vulnerable. It was one that actually could have had real potential blowback to me. Definitely, with some people, would have led to more judgment. But I was so glad that I did that. Because honestly, it was huge. And it gave me some kind of inspiration, honestly, from the most unexpected place. And I was really glad that I got to share that. What are the things about yourself, about the way you talk to yourself, about the way you interact with other people, with the opposite sex or the sex that you're attracted to, with your coworkers, with your friends, with your family? What are those ways that you interact with them that if you woke up tomorrow and those ways were completely different, what would you change? And if you can honestly say that there are things you would change, or there are things that if they went away completely, that you wouldn't miss them at all, I would definitely say that you have to go for this. That there is nothing that is holding you back right now, and that this kind of change is possible. I'm feeling it. I have seen it. I am going and I am doing it. And I don't regret any bit of this.